Hello everyone. So in today's lecture we are going to see some of the basic problems related to the normally open and normally closed contacts. Okay, so let us see what is the problem. So this is the first problem we are going to solve. Okay, so here are some of the inputs: input 0, input 1, and input 2, and input 3. Okay, so these are basically the inputs, and similarly if you observe, these are the outputs: O0, O1, O2, and O3, right? Now see what is the problem here. Okay, so 1 represents the high state of the output, okay, and 0 represents the low state of the output. Okay, so what is the question here? When you are pressing input number 0, okay, so imagine that these are the push buttons: input 0, input 1, input 2, input 3. Okay, so these are the normally open push buttons, right? See, now what I am doing here is we need to write the logic such that the outputs, suppose these are the LEDs, okay, LED number 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we need to solve this problem, right? So these are the inputs. Okay, so when you are pressing this input, okay, so when you are pressing this push button 0, so which output should be high? The output number 0 should be high. Okay, so what will be the condition? The output number 0 will be high and remaining all the outputs should be low. Okay, similarly now when you are pressing input number 1, okay, so that is the push button 1, then our output number 0 will be also high and output number 1 will also be in the high condition. Okay, and remaining two outputs will be in the low condition. Similarly, if we observe input number 3 is pressed, then the outputs will be high. Okay, similarly in the last case all the outputs should be in the high condition. That okay, so this is our problem. Let us see how to solve this problem. Now what we will be doing here, let us see. We need 4 inputs, right? So 4 input will be assigned some addresses. Okay, so let us make some addresses, or we'll be going here. See here, there are no tags available, right? So we'll be assigning some of the text to the some of the inputs. Okay, so let us see what are the inputs. So input number 1, right? So input 1. Okay, okay, so see here, now this input is available. I can extend it like this. Okay, so see, automatically 1, 2, 3, 4 all the inputs are assigned. Okay, so basically we have taken inputs as 0, 1, 2, 3. So let us change this. Okay, so I am deleting it once again. Okay, after deleting all the text, let me take is input number 0, right? Input 0. Okay, and this will be the input number, address will be 0, right? So now what we'll do is I will just extend this one. It will go up till 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Yeah. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, these are the inputs, and see here we are having the inputs here also. So what will be the address? 0, 1, 2, 3. All these tags are assigned now. Okay, so this can be observed in the PLC also. Let us see where it is observed. See here, if you observe, I will maximize this one. Okay, so whatever tag names, or we can say whatever PLC tags we have assigned to that particular input, all are available here. See these tags, okay, I0.4, these are not assigned any tag name right now, but we have assigned these tags to the input i0.0, i0.1, i0.2 and i0.3. okay, now see, we'll assign the tags to the outputs also. So again I'll go to the PLC text from here and I'll take the input number, or say the output number. I'll take the output, okay, output number 0. okay, now see, I can do the same thing here also. Let me change the address, so it will be basically the outputs. okay, so outputs will be right like this, q0.0. okay, now I'll extend this outputs. okay, so now see, outputs will be 0, q0.0, q0.1, q0.2, q0.3, right? So basically we require 4 inputs and 4 outputs. So all these 4 inputs and 4 outputs are assigned the tags. okay, so let us observe this in PLC, right? See here, the outputs are assigned properly, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Now see, what we'll do is, I am minimizing this one. okay, minimize this one also. This is our window where we are going to make the logic. okay, so we'll be having 4 networks here. The network 1, okay, let me delete this one, we have done it in the last class. okay, so now what I'll do is, in input network 1, okay, so let us see what are the conditions. okay, see here, if you observe, the input number 0 is pressed, the output 1 should be high. okay, so if you observe this output, which output number 0, okay, output number 0 is high in all the conditions, or we can say it is high from 0 to 3. okay, so in all the condition it is in high condition. okay, so basically this output is turning on due to all these inputs. okay, so what I'll do is, now see, actually what is required is, I'll take one NO and I'll take one output. okay, so what is required, this input. okay, input number, which one, input, see here, input number 0. okay, so this input is turning on which output, output number which one, output number 0. okay, so this is our output number 0. now what is required is, I'll just see here, this output is high due to input number 0 also, input number 1 also, input number 2 also, and input number 3 also. so how to turn on this output with all the inputs? So basically we'll be requiring OR gate. OR gate means what? We'll be requiring simply in parallel. okay, so all these inputs will be coming in parallel to this input number 0 only. okay, so what I'll do is, I'll just take one parallel branch, open one parallel branch. okay, and I'll assign this NO here. okay, and I'll close it here. okay, similarly, and one more parallel branch is required. okay, and this is close. okay, now see, last case. okay, so again I'll take one output and close it. okay, now see, what we'll do is, I'll, now this output will be high because of all these inputs. okay, so let us write the output. what is the input address? I'll write it for i0.1, right? okay, now similarly this will be i0.2. okay, similarly last one will be i0.3, right? okay, so now this output will be high because of all the 3 inputs. so this is what we required, right? now similarly in the next case, okay, so in next case what is required, let us see. in the next case we require the, so output number 1 basically is high due to all the three inputs. See here, input number 1, input number 2 and input number 3, right? So what we'll do is we'll just simply make the parallels of, or we can say we'll just put the inputs in parallel, input 1, input number 2 and input number 3 in parallel, and to the output number 1. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just, so we can copy this network, right? I'll copy this network and paste it here. Okay, so this is our another network. Let me delete this one. Where is the delete? Here. Okay, so this is our network number 2. Okay, so what is required? Only this address will change. Okay, so output number 1. Okay, so output number 1 is high due to which inputs? So input number I0 I0.1. Okay, and then I0.2, and the last one is I0.3, right? So I can copy this one from here itself, copy, and I'll paste it here. Okay, now there is no requirement of this last network. Okay, so I'll delete this one. Okay, now see this output number 1 is high due to all the three inputs, right? Okay, now see, if you observe carefully, this output number 1 is not high due to the input number 0. Okay, whenever this input number 1 or input number 2 or input number 3 is pressed, only in all this condition only the output will be high. Okay, so observe the third case here. So output number 2. Okay, so output number 2 is high due to what? Input number 2 and input number 3, right? So in other condition it is off. Okay, so the same thing will be doing, only 2 inputs will be required here and the output will be output number 2. Okay, similarly in the last case we'll be requiring only 1 input and 1 output. Okay, so let us do. Okay, so this is our network number 2. Okay, let me copy this network and paste it here again. Okay, so this network is not required anymore, and this is also not required, so let me delete this one. Directly we can do it like this also. So only 2 inputs, input number 2 and input number 3 are in parallel to the and the output is output number 2. Okay, now okay, so this is our network number 3 which is completed now. Okay, so the last case here is, I'll copy this one and paste it here itself. So one more network will be created. Okay, so again in the last case we require the output number 3 to be high, that is Q0.3, and the input will be I0. So let me delete this one, automatically it will come to here. Okay, okay, now see, all the conditions are satisfied now. Okay, so here we are not using any holding circuit, right? So this logic will automatically be working. Okay, so in case of holding we require breaking also in order to control the output properly, that will be seeing in the later lectures or sessions, right? So let us observe the output now. Okay, so basically these inputs are acting like a push button. So when you are pressing the input, then only the output will be high, or we can say whenever the input is in high condition, then only the output will be high. Okay, so what are the outputs here? Output number 0, output number 1, output number 2 and output number 3, and these are the inputs. Okay, so let us observe what is happening in this logic. Okay, so let me download this logic into the PLC, basically our simulator. right? Okay, so this is downloaded now, and let me go in the online mode now. Okay, so now I am in the online mode, and here we are having the monitor mode, right? Take all the text which we have assigned to the CPU's input and output inside this simulator. Okay, so I'll just click on this one and all the tags will come here. Okay, so basically input number 0 1 2 3 and this are the outputs. Okay, so output 0 1 2 3, right? So all these are initially not active. Okay, so the input number 0 is not active, one of the input is not active. Okay, so let us see what will be happening here. So I'll just start monitoring the logic. Okay, so now if you observe the the first case was that whenever I press input number, which input number, basically when you are pressing input number 1, only the output number 0 will be high. Okay, so when I am pressing the input number 1, see here the output number 0 is high. Okay, so remaining all the outputs are in low condition. Okay, so let me turn off this output now. So what was the condition for the second input? When I am pressing the second input, or when you are pushing the button, second number button, or we can say the address I0.1 or the input 1. So when I am activating this input, the two outputs should be high. So which output will be high? Output number 0 and output number 1. Okay, so let us observe. This is our output number 0 and this is our output number 1. Okay, so let us see in the simulator also. So when I am pressing this input, see here, if you observe, both the inputs are high. Okay, so input number 0, sorry, the outputs, output number 0 and output number 1 both are in high condition. Okay, now let us see when I am pressing input number, suppose we are pressing input number 3. Input number 3, in this input number 3, when you are pressing the input number 3, the output 0, 1, 2 and 3, all the outputs should be in the high condition. That was the condition, right? So when I am pressing it, see here, all the outputs are in the high condition. So this is how we have prepared this logic, right? So when I am turning it off, so all this getting off. Now when I am pressing again one input number 1, so you can observe here also the output is high. Okay, now this is how we have done our question. Okay, so let us move on to the next question now. So I am going offline and let us see what is the next question, right? So okay, so this is our next question. In this question, what is required is, when you are pressing the input number 0, the output number 0 and output number 1 will be high, and when you are pressing input number 1, the output number 1 and output number 2 will be high. Similarly, when you are pressing input number 2, the output number 2 and output number 3 will be high. And similarly, in the last case, output number 0 and output number 3 will be high. Okay, so small changes in the same logic, okay, it will work in the same manner, right? So let us see how to solve this question. Okay, so what we'll do is, Okay, so the inputs and output will be same, right? Only the changes will be in the logic. Okay, so what is the requirement? Okay, so the output number 0, if you observe carefully, the output number 0 is high due to input number 0 and input number 3. Okay, so both the inputs should be placed in parallel and this will be the output. Okay, so let us do it. So what is required is, all, let me delete this one. Okay, and this will be also deleted. Okay, only two inputs will be required and the output number 0 is high due to input number 1 and input number 3, right? So this is our input number 3. Okay, now if you observe carefully, the output number 1. Okay, so output number 1 is high due to which of the inputs? Let us see. The output number 1 is high due to input number 0 and input number 1, right? So I'll copy the same, okay, because only two inputs are required. Okay, let me delete all the remaining networks. Okay, so this is our network and I'll copy the same. Okay, so paste here. Okay, so we are having two networks now. I'll paste one more because we require 4 condition, right? One more and one more. Okay, so 4 networks now. Okay, so first condition, first output for this. Okay, and this is input output number, or we can say Q0.1. Okay, and what is the condition here? Input number 1, that is I0.1. Okay, and this will be I0.2, right? Now this is our output finally. Now see the next case. Okay, so basically this is our output number 1. I've done a mistake, right? So I'll just do it here, right? So what will be the output? This is our output number 1 basically. Okay, so Q0.1. Okay, and this will be I0.1 and this will be I0.2. I0.2. Okay, so this is done. Now in the next network we'll be having output number 2 here. So this is 2 and this is input number. Basically what we have done, input number. Okay, so basically the output numbers 1. Okay, so output number 1 is high due to input number 0 and input number 1. Okay, so there will be change in the logic, right? So here, which one is the network? This one. Okay, so this will be 0. Okay, and this will be 1. Okay, right, now this is correct. Now similarly the output number 2 is high due to input number 1 as well as input number 2. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, so 3 networks are complete and last one now, and last one will be, this is our output number 3. Okay, and if you observe, let us check, this is high, output number 3. Okay, output number 3 is high due to input number 2 and input number 3, right? So this is our output number 3, which is high due to input number 2 as well as input number 3. Okay, so this is done now. Okay, so this is fine. Now let me download the logic again. Okay, I'll go online. Okay, now see what is going to happen. Okay, so let me turn off it. Okay, so what was the condition? Okay, the input number 0. Okay, so when you are pressing input number 0, the output number 0 and 1 will be high. Okay, so if you observe carefully, so when you are pressing input number 1, so the output number 0 and output number 1 is high. Okay, so this is, see here output numbers 1 and output number 0 are high. Okay, so the output number 0 and output number 1 are high due to input number 0, right? Now when you are pressing input number 1, output number 1 and output number 2 will be high. So let us see, is it happening? Okay, so this is our simulator and I'll just turn it off. Okay, now I'll just go to this one. Okay, so input number 1 I am pressing. See the next two inputs or the outputs, right? So output number 1 and output number 2 are high now. Okay, so I'm turning it off and let us see the next case. Okay, so in the third case, okay, so basically input number 2 and you are having only one output high. So let us check what is the problem. Okay, so which one is the network, right? So this one is our network and here we require the address as 2, right? So now it will find. Okay, so there is change, so that's why it is creating a problem. Let me download it once again. Okay, and go online. Okay, and monitor. Okay, so let us observe now. So what was the condition? The input number 2, right? So see here, now both the outputs are high. Okay, so in the last case, see output number 1 0 and output number 3 is high. Okay, so this was the condition. All the conditions are satisfied now. Okay, so again let us see, when you are pressing input number 1, again this two inputs are high. Let me turn it off. Let's check next two. Okay, so this is satisfying and next two. Okay, and the next two. Okay, so this is how we have seen our today's session, and remaining things we'll be discussing in the next lecture. Okay, so thank you.